Right. This question is about procedures. I'm talking to Kent Police. They've searched the house because somebody made a false accusation about trouble with our daughter or something like this. They refused to give us information on who it was.
That's not correct.
Right, which is true. And the situation now is they've checked the house, right, and our daughter isn't here because she's at school, of course. Like, you know, and now they want to check out in the back garden and the shed, obviously. So the question is, right, I'm going to ask this officer is this. What happens next? You've come here, someone's made an accusation that there's trouble in the house, i.e. Our child is whatever, who knows? Because you haven't shared the details.
We have, but you even said that you had a conversation with the officers at the window when you refused them entry. So there's been a concern for welfare raised for a child. That's
going to save me loads of time. Concerns raised.
Are you going to let me carry on?
Concerns raised, but for our child.
I'm not playing this game.
Right.
We need to search the garden.
From someone who made a malicious call, obviously, yeah. That's fair. I'm not trying to get at you. So I just want to get the last question, right?
You haven't let me.
When you've checked the garden, because he keeps interfering. When you've checked the garden and everything is sweet, which it will be because my daughter's at school, bless her, and we both love her, and we're seriously not happy about you forcing my wife into a room on her own with a police officer to intimidate her, right? It's intimidation. Come on, you wouldn't let me support her. It's intimidation, right? And I'm not happy about the whole thing, obviously. Like, if it was you, you wouldn't like it as well. The final question is where do you go from here? The person, like, you know, who made the malicious call, which is obviously next door, or her friend who was outside, one of the two.
We don't have the details.
Right? Sure, you don't have the details. I know, you're just the soldiers, right? Like, you know, so the situation is that when you've checked the back garden and the shed, life is beautiful. Yeah, life is. Can you keep not jumping in? Well, life is beautiful, and you've checked everything, right? I talked to this officer. When? Listen to the terminology.
If you carry on, I'll end up knocking through the back door to your garden.
When he's checked everything, and you guys have checked everything. Where do you go? Answer the question. Where do you go from here? That's all I need to know.
The concern is still of the level. We haven't finished checking your property. I'm happy to answer any questions after.
Yeah, well, I'll ask you what happens after and everything's sweet. That's all I want to know.
Yeah, and I'll tell you after I've made sure no one is in any harm in your property.
And that was the report, was it? Someone's in harm with their property?
There's a concern for welfare for a child said to be in your property.
Oh, right, brilliant. Okay.
That has been said to you on a number of occasions.
Yeah, well, it has been a stressful time, you know what I mean? It's not like it's beautiful you here.
Well, if you let me speak and stop talking over me, you'd listen, wouldn't you?
Well, I'm responding, that's all. It's very difficult. You're a professional at what you do, I'm sure. But you don't give me a breathing space.
That's not true at all.
Well, just like you visiting here when there's no reason.
Well, at least 15 minutes that I know of talking to these officers at the door before we even threatened to come in under force.
Well, at least 10 minutes. Because the whole situation is out of order as far as I'm concerned. Well, it's the trouble today with different things, nothing to do with this, right?
You're more than welcome to make the complaint, aren't you?
Well, no, I've got my own methods, but I mean, the thing is, like, we're obviously not happy about this. So we're going to take our time, aren't we? I'll have to get the keys. Go on. Okay, I'm just getting the keys out of the kitchen. Hey, I've got keys here. What do you think you are, a lockpicker or something? Yeah, they just break it if they wanted to. Did you get that? Yeah. So you can see there's no Eskimos in there.
There we go.
That's one
How
of the
easy
well
was
people,
that?
sir.
Oh, you're joking, aren't you?
No.
That's only a side cupboard. I'll have to get a key. Yeah, one of them, yeah. Right, one of the officers is just checking the side cupboard. Is it not going? Do you want me to do it?
Yeah, you might have to, because I can't get it on to work.
Yeah. Yeah, nobody in there.
Cool.
Not even the pixie.
How easy was that?
So, yeah, well, we got there in the end, but it doesn't matter about that so much. I mean, you've got to understand, I understand your side. Some Burke has gone and phoned up and been malicious. And you've got to respond. I understand all of that. No one's taking that away from
I
you.
agree with the terminology, but you've kind of got the essence of it.
But, yeah, well, it's in brief, isn't it? I'll deal with that later.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah, so, I mean, the thing is like you've got to understand, if I've got to understand you, then surely you've got to understand me, or is that not relevant?
I
'Cause you're doing
totally
your job?
understand. I totally understand. My frustration came when you would ask me a question and you wouldn't allow me to respond. And I'm trying to give you literally the legal answer as to why we've entered your property without a warrant. Because there's a power under Pay School Section 17. If we have a concern for someone's life...
Right, well, let's go inside because of neighbours
sure.
listening, especially
Go on
him
up
next door. You'll love all that.
I'll squeeze in. Sorry,
Go on.
Peter.
It's like a little kissing cake.
Well, it's just...
I'll go on after you and then I'll like...
well, I've got to lock up, you know.
Oh, yeah,
You've got all these guys in there, it's not a
No,
problem,
I
and
mean,
you're not a small guy, are you?
It's
know
not
what I
that,
mean?
it's
You're a bit-
now I'm having to squeeze up close.
You're a bit padded. Right, I'll lock all that up after.
No worries.
Right, so where are we now? You've come here, you've found out the accusation is false.
Yes.
Because someone said there was trouble in the kitchen, right? Out hung with some child.
The kitchen. I'm not sure. Was it the shed? There you go. It was the shed. So we've cleared the shed. We will obviously put in a referral, probably to Child Protection Services. We'll have to, just to say that a concern for someone's welfare has been raised. We've obviously done a check, can see that no one's being held in any of the rooms or the shed. And that's it.
As prisoners or something?
Yeah, I don't know the exact terminology of the call, but prisoners, I don't know, against their will, held, whatever
Right,
you
okay.
like, however wording you choose. That is it.
Well, I didn't receive the call. You guys, or your
Yeah.
operator did, didn't they? Your receptionist or whatever. And that, but I mean, the thing is like, you know, as I say, it's a very distressing thing.
It is. If you have any grievance or any complaints that you want to make in the way that this has been conducted today, feel free to do so. All of our names and numbers are attached to the CAD, which is the call. We can give you that reference when we leave as well.
I'm
Feel
not
free
really
to-
interested in your personal numbers or anything like that. I'll just put the video on YouTube. That's what I will do.
Yeah, that's fine. Not a problem.
Of what's happened, like, you know, and really and truly, the complaint will be directed at the malicious caller. Because you're here because of someone doing something
I
malicious.
would only advise you not to incite any kind of any aggression towards an informant. That obviously we can't even confirm who it is. I actually genuinely do not know. I didn't look at the informant before I came here. but also it may be misdirected because we haven't confirmed who it is. I know these gents haven't. They might be under the same position we are.
You're very good at how you talk. You're very professional. I know that. I can see that. Like, and we all are under the right circumstances now. Now that you've got your job done, like, you know.
Well, we've been professional throughout, to be fair. I think not just now that we've.
You followed the rule book. Obviously, you know better than me. But I have no doubts that you did anyway. But the thing is the issue really is whoever's responsible for this.
And that can be inquiries that we can follow up behind the scenes. Obviously, if it becomes a continued pattern of behaviour, then it may be course of conduct for harassment, which is an offence within itself, and you can report.
Yeah, it's pretty Mickey Mouse harassment, though, isn't it? You know.
Well, it can turn into it.
If they want lots of police to turn up here and create a big fuss and create you lots of stress,
like 4.
You not answering the door and being obstructive,
Yeah, you haven't helped
more
it.
police to come like us to be able to force the door. So if you would have been more open to my colleagues first of all, opened the door and spoke to them, then there would be obviously 2 people here rather than 4.
Sure, I hear what you said completely, but the thing with it is we are talking about my position at the time, the invasion of privacy, because you guys turned up because someone made a malicious contact of some kind, and where I was standing, I was trying to confirm my human rights. You see, that's it. Like, you know, where I stand, search warrants, one thing and another.
If you'd opened the window, you could have spoken to us face to face. You might open the door, you could have confirmed that.
I had the window open, I was willing to talk to you from the window.
Our suspicion sometimes.
Obviously, it was the top window, and we see our
Yeah, sure, but the reason for that being is you've got your cams on, like, you know, and I think that's unfair for you to be able to use cams on someone's property.
This footage is not released to the public, though, under any means, unless there's any kind of, you know.
Yeah, well, fair enough. I will say something about that, and I'll end this first.
So quickly.